I know a lot of people are wondering what is going on with Aaron Judge. Where is Aaron Judge going to go? And I've been saying this for 2 years. And I have been saying this because not to throw the Yankees under the bus. I am a Yankee fan, but the Yankees don't like to spend money anymore. And everybody says, well, they spent money on Anthony Rizzo. They gave Giancarlo Stanton the money. They gave Garrett Cole the money. First of all, the only person they really signed on a big deal was Garrett Cole. They took on the deal for Giancarlo Stanton because they didn't have to trade anything for him. Anthony Rizzo got a $30-some-odd million contract for the next 3 years. Is that a lot of money for a star first baseman, an older first baseman, but not a star first baseman? He's still one of the top 5, top 7 first basemen in the league. You sit here and you say, well, the Yankees spend money. They didn't really spend money. Now, are they willing to pay Aaron Judge $330 million for 8 years? The answer is no. Brian Cashman, he's already come out and said he doesn't like to sign players over 7 years. Aaron Judge and his agent has come out and said that he wants an 8-year deal worth a little bit over $300 million. So the Yankees are already out of the running. It's really San Francisco's to lose. They're willing to pay him. They opened up salary room for him. Buster Posey is gone. He's retired. I think there's a lot of money out there in San Francisco. He was born and raised over there in San Francisco. You see all these ex-All-Stars. Barry Bonds reached out to Aaron Judge recently and said that he would be great in San Francisco. He grew up a San Francisco Giants fan. It makes a lot of sense. His family still lives there. He just got married. He might want to raise his kids there. And they have a lot of money. It's not just going to be Aaron Judge. I think they could go after maybe even Brandon Nimmo to be the center fielder. And then you have a dual threat over there, a guy that can lead off and a guy that can hit in the middle of your lineup or even third in your lineup. I think San Francisco is going to make a bid for him on Tuesday. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the week he signs that contract, 8 years, $330 million to go to San Francisco. Am I surprised? No. Am I going to be surprised if somehow the Yankees match it and he comes back to New York? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to say this nice and respectful to all the Yankee fans, including myself. Don't count on. I do not believe he'll be a Yankee. I do not believe the Yankees are going to give him a $300 million contract. I think the $230 million he was offered was high enough in Brian Cashman's eyes. Maybe after breaking the 61 home run record held by Roger Maris, it might raise the total to maybe 30 more million, to maybe like 260 million. I cannot see Brian Cashman digging into the Yankees' pockets, Hal Steinbrenner's pockets, and saying, hey, you know what, Hal? We're going to spend another $300 million on a player. It doesn't make sense. It's not the Yankees' way anymore. They want to build around youth. They have Dominguez coming up possibly this year, Volpe coming up this year. You've seen Pereza. You've seen Cabrera. They want to go back to youth. I think Aaron Judge, being that he's 31 years old, he wants an 8-year deal over $300 million. I don't see the Yankees going there and throwing their money away into one player.
Yeah, it seems like the Giants are setting the bar on the years where a lot of these other teams are not going to be able to deal with that kind of thing. 8 years, $320 was the original market value. Now we're hearing 8 years, $330. The only realistic chance I see of the Giants getting outbid by a team that's willing to go for an 8-year deal might be the Dodgers, their division rival. But even they have a lot of other trickier things they got to deal with too. They got to re-sign Trey Turner if they want to keep him. They've also been in the rumors for pitching as well, Justin Verlander, even Carlos Rodon if they let go of Turner. So it might not even be a guarantee they would do it. And I said the Red Sox as a potential bidding war with the Yankees, but if the Yankees aren't going to fight for that bidding war, I don't really see the Red Sox getting involved in that either, even when it comes to stealing their own players. So yeah, I really think it'll come down to if Aaron Judge does end up wanting the 8 years, or if he cares more about staying with the Yankees or the average annual value, which I don't really see at this point. He traveled to San Francisco with his family. He traveled to the Giants team facility this week. What will that end up mattering for? But I think it's really looking closer and closer to like he will sign with the Giants. Now, I don't know if it'll be quickly. I don't know if it'll be that instantly, but I think there will be some kind of a bidding war.
I think he'll give the Yankees the chance to match it. I just don't think the Yankees will match it. It's a lot of money. I think the Yankees can throw that money into 2 or 3, maybe even 4 players, or maybe next year. I've said this already. Maybe the Yankees hold off. They go into the season with the roster they have, some of the youngsters. They're still going to be competitive. They still can make the playoffs with the roster they have. Maybe find a pitcher here and there to fit in their bullpen, which we've heard Brian Cashman interested in the Pittsburgh closer. There are pieces that they can add to the puzzle. It doesn't mean that the Yankees can't make the playoffs, But again, I think the Yankees would rather lose Aaron Judge to a National League team, a San Francisco Giant team, than a Red Sox team where you're going to have to see him 17, 18 times, or any other team in the American League. I think this is fitting for the Yankees. It's fitting for Judge. He gets to go home. He gets to go and play for his home team in front of his family. Is he going to be the same Aaron Judge that he was in Yankee Stadium? Probably not. He's going to be dealing with injuries. With his size and his ability, maybe he has 2, maybe 3 good years left in him where he'll be able to be an elite player. But if the Yankees see that in his age to be a problem, I would not pay him $300 million. And this could set their team back and this roster back, where they take that money, that $300, $400 million they're going to invest in him, and maybe invest it into Soto when he becomes a free agent after this year. So it's going to be interesting on what Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner decides to do in the next couple of days. Jacob deGrom, the Yankees maybe passed on Aaron Judge, might not pass on Jacob deGrom. We've heard that the Yankees interested in Jacob deGrom if he clears medically. I am not surprised with this. You add Jacob deGrom to that rotation with Garrett Cole and some of the pitchers that they have, the Nestor Cortezes of the world. This could be the best pitching staff in baseball. The question is Jacob deGrom going to stay healthy? And what are the Yankees willing to pay him? And how many years? He still has a lot left in him. I say to seal a deal with Jacob, you're going to have to give him at least a 3 to 4 year deal worth about $40 million a year. Are they willing to pay Jacob deGrom for 4 years instead of paying Aaron Judge for 8? I think it's a better fit for the Yankees to give Jacob the 4 years, $40 million, than Aaron Judge the 8 years, $45 million. Pitching wins ball games. Pitching wins championships. I think this might be the move the Yankees start to move forward to.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, because you see this is the ideal deal for Brian Cashman to make, a 4-year deal that, even if it's a lot of money, because Jacob deGrom is seeking the average annual value very similar to Max Scherzer. I don't think he'll get as much, but I do think it's definitely possible where he could still cash in on the length too. We heard the shorter term deal competition be the Mets and the Braves, and now the Yankees trying to get involved in that kind of thing too. The Rangers are the only team that's interested in giving him a 5 or 6 year deal, but will Jacob deGrom rather have that than get a bigger deal of average annual value and try to win a championship with a team that can compete? Because we know the Braves are definitely competitors, as are the Mets and the Yankees. And the Yankees, again, one of the better starting pitching staffs in the American League. You're looking at a case where, what is the relationship with the Mets and Jacob deGrom front office too? If it is as sour as I thought it was last year, even with their change in GMs, I mean, Jacob deGrom might want to stick it to the Mets and just go cross town in New York. So it's definitely possible. I don't know how petty he is comparatively to some of the other guys that have left the Mets in the past, but if it is a sour ending with the way they treat him with the injuries, it's definitely an option.
There is a couple of basketball stories I want to get into before we go to break. Kyrie Irving returns to the Nets lineup. What does this do for the Brooklyn Nets? What does this do for Brooklyn? What does this do for the NBA? I have no idea why Kyrie Irving is playing basketball this year. I have no idea how the Nets in the NBA allows this idiot to step on a basketball court when he doesn't understand what it is to really respect the game that he plays. And honestly, a lot of these athletes, a lot of these self-proclaimed superstars that they think they're Uncle Drew or whatever he calls himself, or whatever superstar he compares his game to, like Allen Iverson. This man has done nothing good for basketball. Nothing. Once in a blue moon, you see the talented player that he is, but the guy on and off the court doesn't respect the game for what it is and what it's brought him, the riches that it's brought him, and he should be the face of this organization. He should be one of the faces of this brand, and what he is an absolute joke to the brand, and to me, a disgrace. And I don't understand why the Nets would allow this guy to step on a basketball court this year. But again, I'm not the owner. I'm not the GM. If he does something stupid again or says something stupid again, I think the Nets are going to really regret that they let this guy step on the court for one more respectful time because of the stupidity and some of the dumb things he's done in the league and what he's said.
We agreed on this, whether it came to suspending him for the whole season. That's what I would have done if I were the Nets. That's what I would have done if I were the NBA. And like you were saying, for a commissioner and Adam Silver, who is Jewish, why would he not be able to fight for that cause more? It makes no sense to me. And why the Nets just let it go like it was absolutely nothing. Kevin Durant, we talked about it last week, commenting on the most random things with the game planning rather than commenting on the wrongdoings of his teammates makes absolutely no sense. And the fact that Kyrie Irving is playing, nobody should be rooting for this kind of thing. It's a really bad look for the Nets. Not that the Nets have had many good looks lately, but when it comes to the publicity and when it comes to the NBA, just as a icon for trying to be a better game, that's a bad look for sure.
It's embarrassing for the NBA. It's embarrassing for the Brooklyn Nets, being that they're in a very Jewish community. I just think it's disgraceful. And this guy stepping on the court, he has done nothing. Yes, he has apologized, and I understand that everybody deserves a second chance. This guy doesn't really follow through in his apology. He doesn't care. He just said his apologies because the Nets and the NBA made him apologize. He did not want to apologize for what he said. He absolutely believes what he believes in. And I'm not saying that there's no opportunities to have freedom of speech, being that you live in the United States, but it's what you say and how you say it that really makes you look like an idiot. Mitchell Robinson returns to the Knicks lineup. Mitchell Robinson is a great basketball player. Is he a superstar basketball player? He's not. But he could give you 14 and 10 every single night if he stays healthy. The problem with Mitch, since he's come into the league, he's been in the league 5 years, the guy can't stay healthy. He's got ankle problems, foot problems, plantar fasciitis problems, knee problems. This guy can't stay healthy. And unfortunately, the New York Knicks gave him the contract in the offseason. Now, it's a workable contract. It's a contract that you could trade away. It's a feasible contract. But when you sign a guy 3 to 4 years, you expect him to be on this roster when you can compete and win. And I just don't know if Mitchell Robinson's that guy. I don't know if he's capable of staying healthy for a full season to help this team win.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to be able to trust because it's now 3 different years he's had these injury issues. Now, the Knicks have definitely needed him. They've gotten out-rebounded in a lot of their losses this season. And Robinson, especially on the offensive glass, was a big part what the Knicks were able to do to get second chance points in the first 10 games of the season. And that definitely was lost with Isaiah Hartenstein and several of the other big men they have who just aren't that same kind of player in the lineup. Now, long-term, yeah, it's definitely a concern. If they do end up trying to make a trade, we heard about Rose and Quigley being in the rumors last week. Maybe they package Robinson if they want a bigger name player in that kind of deal, because he definitely, when he's on the court, is an impactful big man. Great rebounder, great shot blocker. Led the NBA in blocks at one point this season before he got hurt. So when he's on the court, he's fantastic. It's just, yeah, it's very difficult to trust for a team that the Knicks really need to figure out what sense of direction they're going in. And if it means trading him to get a better value with somebody like Rose or Quigley, they might have to do it.
When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into some hockey conversation as the New York Islanders are very, very hot. And the New York Rangers trying to find their feet, trying to find their legs, whatever they're trying to find, they better find some defense because they cannot leave it to Shesterkin as the season progressively moves forward if they expect to make the playoffs.